this is my lovely little Honda Civic, and over the past year and a half or so that I've owned this car, I've been doing little budget mods to it to make it look a little nicer, try to make it a little faster, feel a little nicer. So today I'm going to show you my favorite budget mods that I've done to this car and ones that I would recommend for your own Civic. I'm going to start with exterior mods, then do interior, and then performance mods, if we can call them that. This first budget mod is just nicer looking hubcaps. I found these ones here for 50 bucks for all four at an AutoZone. They look 10 times better than the stock hubcaps and just really change the look of the whole car. Just the blacked out rims make it look really, really nice. Now, of course, if you have actual rims on your Civic and not the steelies underneath like I do, then you can't just buy hubcaps, but you can buy aftermarket rims, and usually you can find some for pretty cheap off Facebook Marketplace or something like that. But I have the option of just $50 hubcaps to make it look a little nicer, so I might as well do that. These are obviously just for looks, but they're super easy to install, and like I said, they completely change the whole look of the car. Just the black rims, especially from a few feet back, you know, if you can't really see the steelies, then it looks great. The next thing is going to be around the back here, and that is a aftermarket exhaust tip. As you can see here, I've got this extra exhaust tip sticking out over the normal exhaust tip there that's just on the end of the exhaust. This will look a little bit better and actually changes the sound of it very, very slightly. When I made the video about changing that exhaust tip, a lot of people argued with me in the comments saying that it doesn't make a difference in the sound at all because it's kind of hard to hear on the camera, but in person you can hear it gives it a little bit more of a rasp to it. Pretty interesting. Nothing you can tell from the inside, but if you're just standing outside of it, revving it or something, you can definitely tell a small difference. Some other cheap exterior mods that I haven't done, but that you certainly could do, would be aftermarket headlights and taillights, or blacked out badges, or, you know, stuff like that, maybe a little spoiler. But I personally like how all that looks on this car already, so I figure why change it if I like it already. Now on the interior, I've done a couple of things, starting with this stitched steering wheel cover. This is kind of a pain to put on. It took me like 2 hours because you have to like go all the way around the whole thing, do all that yourself, which is kind of annoying, but as a result you get a nicer feeling, just nicer looking steering wheel cover than a normal just like plop on cover. So I personally like this better, but you could of course do the normal, you know, just stick it right on and call it a day. When I got this car, the shift knob was in awful condition, so I replaced it with just another OEM style shift knob. I'm thinking about getting a different style shift knob eventually, but I just have to find one that I like for a reasonable price that's actually 5-speed. The last and definitely coolest thing I've done to the interior of this car are these footwell lights. Oh, that's falling off. Footwell lights. You can put one there on both the driver and passenger side. You get a little controller to change the colors and everything. You can pick whatever colors you want to do. It's super cool, makes driving at night so much more interesting, and it just looks really, really cool. Now, for the performance mods that I've done to this, I've only done 2 things because, well, it's a high mileage old car, and I don't really want to try to add a whole lot of power to it. I'm fine with how it is right now. However, the one thing I've done related to the engine is just a performance air filter. I got a K&N performance air filter. It was like 50 bucks, and it didn't really do anything, but it makes a little bit more sound. And when I'm like rev matching, if I just have to blip the throttle a little bit or just revving it for the fun of it, it's a little bit more responsive there and just a little bit more intake sound. So it does a little bit, probably not worth 50 bucks, but you know, that's all right. I think if you were to get an actual tune with it, or get an actual cold air intake, one of the cone filters or something like that, then you could actually notice a little bit of a boost in power, but just the air filter alone doesn't really do anything. The other thing is back in the interior, and that is shifter bushings, upgraded aluminum shifter bushing. So what that does is just tighten up the feel of the shifter just a little bit, because normally they're rubber bushings, and that allows for a little bit more play in the shifter when you're in gear and just switching between gears. So the aluminum bushings just really kind of help tighten up the feel of the shifter, and I actually did notice a pretty significant difference. These are all super cheap mods, like the most expensive things are 50 bucks each. So that's pretty darn cheap for upgrading a car. I mean, it's not bad at all. Let me know what kind of budget or not budget mods you guys have done to your cars, and if there's anything you think I missed in this list, please let me know. If you want to see all the videos I've done for this budget build series on this car, you can click right up here on the screen for that, and I'll see you over there.